Commander Zeftar's mandibles clicked dismissively. A crude explosive device. Our shields are designed to stop energy weapons, Chen interrupted. Plasma beams, quantum disruptors, particle cannons, all very sophisticated. But tell me, Commander, what happens when something physical, something with mass, approaches your ship at a significant fraction of light speed? The bridge fell silent. The hegemony's shields were indeed designed for energy attacks. Physical objects moving at relativistic speeds were considered impossible. What species would waste energy accelerating mass when pure energy was so much more efficient? You see, Chen continued, humans have a saying, if it's stupid, but it works, it isn't stupid. We've been accelerating chunks of metal to ridiculous speeds for centuries. We call them kinetic kill vehicles. Very simple concept. Take a telephone pole made of tungsten, accelerate it to 99.9% the speed of light, and let physics do the rest. She touched her communicator. Admiral Rodriguez, execute demonstration. Alpha. On the tactical display, Zeftar watched in growing horror as every sensor array suddenly detected incoming objects. Hundreds of them. Thousands. They appeared from nowhere, having traveled through space too fast for the hegemony's sensors to track until they were already practically on top of the fleet. The first kinetic projectile struck a destroyer on the fleet's periphery. The ship's shields, designed to deflect energy beams, offered no resistance to the tungsten rod traveling at 99.8% light speed. The destroyer simply ceased to exist, vaporized by the impact that released more energy than a small star. Impossible, Crixna shrieked. Our sensors would have detected the launch signatures. Chen smiled grimly. We launched those projectiles 18 months ago from platforms scattered throughout this system. They've been coasting toward your fleet ever since, completely silent, completely dark. By the time your sensors could detect them, they were already here. The second wave struck, then the third. Hegemony ships, magnificent vessels that had conquered a dozen star systems, exploded like soap bubbles as telephone pole-sized projectiles traveling at near light speed tore through them. This is barbaric, Zeftar roared. Weapons should be precise, controlled, elegant. Weapons should be effective, Chen replied. That destroyer your second wave just lost, it carried 15,000 crew members. So did the battlecruiser that just became an expanding cloud of plasma. Would you prefer we use nuclear weapons? Instead, we have those too. Lots of them. The tactical display continued its grim countdown. In less than 3 minutes, the hegemony had lost 40% of their fleet to what they considered primitive technology. Their quantum disruptors and plasma cannons were useless against attacks that had already happened. You're monsters, Crixna whispered. We're humans, Chen corrected. We don't fight fair. We don't fight elegantly. We fight to win. Your species conquers others because you have superior technology. But you've forgotten something important. Sometimes the best technology is the simplest technology applied creatively. She stood up, closing the briefcase. Our terms are simple. Withdraw from human space immediately. Never return. In exchange, we won't demonstrate our more creative solutions. Did I mention we've figured out how to accelerate antimatter to relativistic speeds? Much more efficient than tungsten. Zeftar looked at his tactical display. More than half his fleet was gone, destroyed by chunks of metal traveling very fast. His remaining ships were already calculating retreat vectors. The galaxy will hear of this treachery, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Good, Chen replied. Make sure they understand. Humans don't build the most advanced weapons. We build the most effective ones. Sometimes the difference between those two concepts can be measured in how many of your ships survive the encounter. As the hegemony fleet limped away from human space, Captain Chen watched from the bridge of her command ship. Her tactical officer approached with a bemused expression. Ma'am, intelligence reports that 17 different species have requested immediate diplomatic contact. They want to discuss mutually beneficial trade agreements. Chen nodded. Throughout human history, respect had always followed fear. The galaxy had learned that humans didn't need the most sophisticated weapons. They just needed the will to use simple ones in ways nobody expected. After all, A rock thrown hard enough could still kill a god. D in amusement as he reviewed the YAO intelligence reports from the Terran colonies. The crystalline screens of his flagship's bridge displayed primitive human weaponry, crude kinetic projectiles, chemical explosives, and what the humans laughably called missiles. Around him, his officers shared in the mirth, their bioluminescent patches flickering with derision. "Look at this." First Officer Krixna gestured at the tactical display with one of her 4 arms. "They're still using metal slugs accelerated by chemical reactions. Our energy shields don't even register such primitive attacks." The hegemony had been expanding across the galaxy for 3 millennia, absorbing or destroying lesser species with their superior plasma weaponry and quantum disruptors. Their ships were works of art, sleek vessels that bent space-time around them, powered by contained stars and armed with weapons that could vaporize planets. The humans, with their boxy metal ships and explosive devices, seemed like children playing with firecrackers. "Sir," Communications Officer Veldan's voice carried poorly concealed laughter. "The humans are requesting a diplomatic meeting. They want to discuss terms of surrender." Zeftar's compound eyes glittered. "Terms? They think they're in a position to negotiate? Send a response. Unconditional surrender, or we demonstrate why the galaxy bows to the hegemony." The human response came 12 hours later, delivered by a small, unremarkable ship that barely registered on their sensors. Captain Sarah Chen stepped aboard the hegemony flagship with only 2 escorts, carrying what appeared to be a simple metal briefcase. "Commander Zeftar," she said, her voice steady despite facing beings twice her height with natural armor plating. "I'm here to make you an offer." "Humans do not make offers to the hegemony," Zeftar rumbled, his vocal cords producing harmonics that made the air vibrate. "You surrender, or you die." Chen set the briefcase on the conference table. "Before you decide, I'd like to show you something, a demonstration of human ingenuity." She opened the case, revealing what looked like a child's toy, a small metallic sphere with blinking lights. The hegemony officers exchanged glances. Their advanced sensors detected no energy signatures, no quantum fluctuations, no threat whatsoever. "This," Chen said, "is what we call a proximity mine. Very simple technology. It detects approaching objects and detonates when they get close enough." Zeftar's mandibles click.